Hey guys, it's Coach Ian with Endorphin CrossFit again. I'm here to review our warm-up for the week. It's going to go through a little bit of everything. We have some things from K-Star, we're taking from yoga, we're taking from Eric Cressy, we're taking from quite a few different places that, again, we're going to go through some mobilization, some static stretches where we're going to open up some joint ranges that are typically stuck. Those mainly are upper back, our hips, our ankles, and our wrists. So we're going to look to open up those areas. We're then going to look to activate areas that, again, are commonly deactivated, if you will. When people say their glutes don't fire, other things like that. It really means that people can't get into the right position because we're in the wrong posture all day. We're in this head forward kind of pose, rounded shoulders, sitting on our butts all day, tucked here. So we're going to work to open that up, and then finally we're going to work to grease the groove, if you will. We're going to use some patterns that we'll see in our regular workouts. So it's going to be some skills that are going to transfer over to the work that we're going to train later on in the day or in the week. We're going to review those patterns, and we're going to get our heart rate elevated. So we're going to get a sweat going on like I have here. We're going to start off with a yoga pose. Some of you may be familiar with it. It's in the Warrior One. The rear foot's going to be turned out about 45 degrees. Some people say that it should be turned in a little bit more, but we're going to be walking more of the tightrope than when we lunge. When we lunge, we're going to be out here somewhere, and we don't like to be on the tightrope. But in this pose, we're going to have our rear leg about 45 degrees, our front toes then be straight, and then we're going to sink in here. I'm going to turn my torso so that I'm creating a straight line. I'm driving my rear leg into the mat. I'm driving my front foot into the mat, but I'm pulling up towards me, and I'm pushing the mat away from me here. I'm squeezing my butt. I'm going to start off here, and if I could be nice and tight here and sink into this lunge, I could go ahead, as long as I can keep the brace, then I'm going to reach my arms overhead. I don't want to overextend in this position here, so I'm going to look to hold this for about 15 seconds. Next, we're going to go into a K-Star hip flow. It's going to start off down in this kind of low lunge or Spider-Man lunge kind of position. So you're going to get on the outside of one of your feet. So we'll put our right leg forward first. We're going to drive on the outside of it here, and we're just then articulate the joint. So we're going to go in circular motions in the joint here, moving our knee or moving our butt, whatever way you want to think about it. We're going to open up this range here. Once we do that, we're going to look to drive our belly button towards our knee. You're going to feel that more in the outside of the hip capsule. We'll do that for a couple seconds. Then we'll look to drive the belly button away from that knee. So we're going to drive on the outside of the foot still, but we're going to reach away from us. After we've opened this up here, we're going to look to bring this leg across slightly. And now, again, I'm going to go into almost a modified pigeon here. And I'm going to do the same thing. Belly button's going to go towards the knee, and then belly button goes away from the knee. So we're just working on opening up the outside of that capsule, the inside of the groin. Again, both sides. We're going to spend about 15-20 seconds on each side. Final movement is going to be a modified child's pose or a prayer stretch. You're going to go down on your knees here. You could use a box, you could use a bench, you could use rings. Rings are real nice, but this bench or box will also work nicely for me. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tuck my feet under, I'm going to put my arms up on the box, and I'm going to reach with my chest. Most people want to reach with their head. That's not doing what I want. That is just reinforcing a bad position of this head forward position. What I want is this chest forward position that is then open up my upper back. I feel it between my shoulder blades. So it's really chest forward. I'm going to go ahead, go as far down as I can, push my hands actively against the box, and then I'm going to pull myself up. So I'm engaging my lats, and then I'm going to push myself down. So I'm going to go through this push-pull 10 times, and then I'm going to drop one arm down. And now I'm going to use one arm here and do the same motion 10 times, but I'm going to open up one side at a time. We'll get a little bit of anti-rotation by bracing through the core. And again, driving through the chest, not through the head. We'll go to the other side, do my 10 here. So now that we've opened up the hips and the upper back a bit, we're going to work to stabilize and activate some areas here. So we're going to start off with a hip flow. It's actually the culmination of what we've been working on for a couple weeks. we're gonna get into that 90-90 hip position here. So we've been working on these guys here, and you may need your hands to go down, or you may be able to control. But what we're gonna do from here is we're gonna then drive up. Again, you may need to plant a hand down and come through. We're gonna look for some hip extension. I'm gonna come back down, go to the other side. So I'm gonna drive over. If I could do it without putting my hands down, I will. Drive through. Don't extend through the back, just push the hips through, come back down. We're gonna go through that again. Drive down, drive through, hip extension, and now I'm gonna hit the bottom of my squat. I could be explosive with it, or I could just sink into it, whatever works for me. So, boom, I'm explosive and I go into this here. I'm gonna come back through, go back down, go to the other side. So we're gonna do this for 20 seconds before we move into our side plank. On our side plank, I want you to point the fingers away from you. I want you to stack one foot in front of the other. So I'm gonna be flat on one foot and on the outside of the other. I want you to stabilize through the side, through the oblique here. And if you'd like, if you could hold this down and keep correct posture, pulling the head back, you could go ahead and put the one arm up. So we're gonna hold this for 20 seconds. We're gonna go over to our other side. Once we've done side planks on both sides, we're gonna add in a new movement. We've been working on swings for quite a while now. We're gonna go to a one-arm swing, and it's gonna be a one-arm bottoms-up swing straight into a goblet squat. So I'll show you from the front, then I'll show you from the side. Toes are gonna be relatively straightforward if we can. I'm gonna push my hips back. It's a hinge, remember, it's not a squat, so I don't bend my knees. There's very, very little knee bend here. I'm gonna push my butt back primarily. Load up the hamstring, load up the glute. So butt goes back, boom, kettlebell comes up. This is gonna be difficult. If you can't do it with a kettlebell, and this is a lightweight kettlebell, then I'm just gonna move to a dumbbell. So we have kettlebells that range in quite a few different weights, but if that's too difficult, then we're just gonna do the same thing with a dumbbell. So I'll come here, go back, come up with it. Once I've loaded this up here, I'm squeezing, elbow goes forward, and then I'm gonna sit down into my squat. Drop the kettlebell or dumbbell back down, switch arms, come back up the other side, drop down. We're gonna go through the clean plus the squat, again for 20 seconds, alternating arms. We're gonna keep that same kettlebell, and then we're gonna do what I'll call a kettlebell shuffle, which is really a bottoms-up kettlebell or plate. Again, it depends on what you could stabilize here. So if we could bring this up and stabilize here, anybody who knows me knows I have a real weak lower back, not great stabilization, and overhead is my biggest weakness. So if you've been coached by me, you know that I'm all about perfection, but that's not what this is about. This is about progress. Progress to perfection. So I'm looking to have my elbow pointed straight forward, not out. I want to be nicely engaged here. If I could get this belt up here straight, and you can see I'm shaking a little bit here. If I could take it overhead while locking the rib cage down, not going into extension, I could do that. Otherwise, I'm going to stay here. The kettlebell shuffle goes one forward, one to the side, one back, one to the side, one forward. We're just going to do that for 20 seconds. We'll alternate sides on the next round. We're gonna go through all of those, 20 seconds on, 5-second transition. We'll go through 2 rounds of each of those, okay? And then finally, we're gonna get our heart rate up. We're gonna, again, grease the groove with some patterns. We'll do some anti-rotation things with the slam ball. We haven't done that in a warm-up before. And again, we're gonna work on some progressions we have. So we're gonna start off, it's going to be 3 sets of 4 repetitions of each of these exercises. We're gonna do a weighted feet together squat. So it's gonna be goblet style. You're gonna hold the kettlebell, plate, whatever it may be, dumbbell in front of us. Feet go together. I'm gonna squeeze my core through my bracing sequence, push my butt back, and get as low as I possibly can here. I'm gonna do 4 repetitions. If that's easy for you and you could get into a pistol and then come up, we'll do pistols, okay? So we're gonna do 4 repetitions, then we're gonna go to a one-arm kettlebell swing. So we practiced this a little bit in the prior progression. Again, hips go back. I'm gonna lower my chest because my hips go back. So I don't wanna be real upright here. I'm actually gonna let my chest come down, and then I'm in one-arm kettlebell swing here, okay? So we could let this thing go straight forward like a kettlebell swing, or I could come up to the bottoms up kettlebell swing. So whichever one you want to practice, we're going to do 4 repetitions on each arm. Then we're going to go over the shoulder for slam ball. So again, we're going to use the squat pattern and hip extension pattern. I want your butt to be down, your chest to be up. Most people grab the slam ball like this. We don't want to do that. We want to grease that pattern. So nice braced core, butt goes back, bend the knees, squat pattern. We're going to extend through the hip, and then I'm going to pop this thing over my shoulder. Turn around, and I'm going to do 4 on one side, boom, come right over. I'll do 4 on the other side. After that, you're going to do 2 more rounds of 4, okay? So it's going to be the weighted foot together squat or pistol squat. It's going to be 1 arm kettlebell swing on one side, 1 arm kettlebell swing on the other side, and then over the shoulder slam ball, 4 on each side. If you have any questions, shoot us an email. If you are interested in customized nutrition programs, customized training programs, just holler at us and we'll put together something for you. Thanks a lot, guys.